A recent irresponsible Chainsmokers concert in the Hamptons is now under investigation. Here is everything we know. I'm Jana Rosenberg.
I'm Gabi Conti, and this is your 24/7 celebrity news. Recently, the Chainsmokers had a massive concert in the Hamptons as part of the Safe and Sound mini festival, which turned out to be anything but. The concert was intended to be a drive-in music experience for charity, where audience members of an estimated 2,000 people paid up to $25,000 for a ticket. Concertgoers were supposed to watch the concert from spaced out areas near their cars, but instead, it ended up looking more like a regular pre-pandemic concert. Social media was flooded with videos and pictures of concertgoers and influencers crowding the stage and not staying socially distant as intended. Now the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has announced that the state's health department will be doing an investigation of the event, as they should be.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like, my first thought is that no one else is doing this. No one else is putting on concerts where like people go meet up in person in big crowds. And yes, I understand you can take all the precautions, but it's just like there's so many artists that are struggling right now, and then the Chainsmokers do this, and maybe like they were thinking that they would be the first to kind of start this thing where you can do it safely, but on all honesty, like, you just can't. It's a major social event. There's drinking going on. There's social media, you know, so yeah.
Well, yeah, it's that, and you know, also, I'm not a fan of the Chainsmokers. I wasn't a fan of the Chainsmokers to begin with. Now I'm really not a fan of the Chainsmokers. Like, I just think that this is so irresponsible. Yeah. Also, if we think, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of, like, when the outbreak started to happen, there was a influencer, Ariel Charnas, who left New York City to go to the Hamptons. Like, she was tested positive for COVID, and people were like, what is she doing? To me, and she's still there. She's still in the Hamptons, and her parents were at this concert. But the bigger issue here is it's still the bigger issue of, like, here is the Hamptons, which otherwise is not a vacation destination, is a residential small town with not a lot of facilities, and now all these like rich people are like going there, and like probably I guarantee you the people at the concert do not live in the Hamptons. I guarantee you most of them are going back and forth between the Hamptons and the city. Yeah. So there for sure was a spread at this thing. There for sure was, and this is so irresponsible, and it also prevents us from having concerts from bands we actually want to listen to happening sooner than later.
That's what's most frustrating, you know, for me. I'm like, you're just deterring this, like, getting back to normal that we all want. And like, we always see celebrities constantly preaching what everyone else is preaching. I'm saying, like, they follow the trends because they're celebrities, and it looks better for them to do that than to not. However, this is like a good example of, okay, you say you don't talk the talk. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's kind of annoying.
And yes, there are like drive-in movies, but that's different. A drive-in movie theater, you're in the car the whole time. You don't get out. You're not like dancing to a movie. Like, this is just so irresponsible. And it also is very elitist because, you know, tickets started at $875. So it's like, it almost feels like that these people felt entitled because they were spending so much money on their tickets that it was okay for them to like go and like act like they were at a concert, which is also really messed up and wrong.
Pictures and videos of this concert made the rounds on social media, and people are rightfully upset with this total disregard for public safety. People are lashing out at the organizers of the event, concert goers, and the Chainsmokers' disregard for the pandemic and importance of socially distancing. Even though the proceeds of this event were intended to go to charity, it looks like this concert did more harm than good. As one person tweeted a video of the crowded concert, adding, the Chainsmokers had a drive-in concert in the Hamptons last night. Looks like total social distancing was strongly enforced. When NY gets the inevitable spike, just blame these rich, selfish white people.
And if you see these videos, and we're gonna post it here, like this looks like Coachella. This looks like Coachella by the main stage, and a ton of people like just gathering, being super close to each other, wearing their masks, not wearing their masks. I mean, that is how this virus spreads. That's why we are not like going to these gatherings. That's why we're not having parties. That's why we are sitting at a distance at a restaurant and someone's coming up to you with like a shield on their face, because that's the safest way to like go outside.
Exactly. I will say, look, I have not been perfect throughout this whole thing. There have been times where I've gone in crowds a little bigger than maybe I probably should have been in. However, this is crossing the line on so many levels.
This is the new, and it's so funny too because it was a lot of influencers at this event, and that's why and they posted about it, and that's why people are angry. So a lot of influencers were there. Some were even health influencers, which I think is just so incredibly crazy, like just like hypocritical. And they have all the excuses in the book. They'll tell you they took their temperature. They tell you they had to like do X, Y, and Z. But like, you know, push comes to shove, like this was just so irresponsible. So apparently people running this event thought that they were adhering to guidelines, as they were steel dividers separating sections in the front of the stage for groups of 10, which marked spots that guests were supposed to stay within. And there also were security guards enforcing concert goers to wear their masks the entire time. As one Southampton resident said, quote, "Everyone was social distancing distancing and being responsible. We had an amazing time and hope to see more events like this, which obviously was not the images we saw on social media. And it seems like the Chainsmokers are planning to do more events like this. As we report this, it looks like the band plans on taking the concert to 5 more cities, including Miami, which, as you know, Florida has a huge surge at COVID right now. So like,
wait, that's crazy.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
This is nuts. I honestly don't even really believe this. It's so crazy. It's like, I would love to hear Billie Eilish's opinion on this. I bet she would rip them a new
she's
one.
Like, no, I'm being safe. Like, I'm talking about my Justin Bieber obsession I had. Like, I am like good. Like, like it's just so irresponsible. And I think anytime an event like this happens, it just delays us being able to go back to like, having concerts and having gatherings and having weddings and all this stuff.
And I really miss all of that. So
I do.
Great if,
if you guys could just stay inside.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo spoke out about the irresponsibility of this concert and said videos from a concert held in Southampton on Saturday show egregious social distancing violations. I'm appalled. The Department of Health will conduct an investigation. We have no tolerance for the illegal and reckless endangerment of public health. Then New York's Health Commissioner Howard A. Zucker said, I am at a loss as to how the town of Southampton could have issued a permit for such an event. How did they believe it was legal and not an obvious public health threat?
And I'm sure they're gonna come back with all of these excuses, with all of these precautions that they so and so took, but like, when it comes down to it, you can't I'm sure they intended for the concert for people to be sitting in their cars and like listening to the music, but like, come on. Like, if people are paying that much for a ticket, they're gonna try to break the rules.
Oh, 100%.
Even if it is for charity, and yes, it was for charity, that's great and all, but it seems like no matter how much money they raised for charity, the actions of that is like not going to help that. Well, what do you guys think about this Chainsmokers concert? Do you think they were adhering to the guidelines, or was this just irresponsible? Let us know. I'm Gabi Conti.
I'm Jana Rosenberg, and follow us here at Hollywire for your 24/7 celebrity news.